So these are the most painful cave deaths ever. Let's watch.
Cueva, Los Angeles tragedy. On May 30th, 1999, Francis Reyes, an experienced National Cave Rescue Commission guide, led 17 people into Cueva Los Angeles in Puerto Rico. Among them
Puerto Rico.
was Elba Vasquez Gonzalez. The group entered the cave shortly after noon, and the group followed a stream passage that initially seemed safe. As they went deeper, Reyes noticed the stream's flow got
They always go deeper into the cave.
stronger. The group didn't know that heavy rain had fallen in faraway mountains, sending water rushing through the cave. Feeling danger,
Nah. How do you not notice heavy? Okay, maybe it's around that place.
Reyes decided to take the group toward higher ground. As the water level started to rise, the gentle stream became a dangerous current and panic set in. He told everyone to climb a steep rocky slope leading to an upper passage. Reyes and Vasquez were last. As they approached the slope, Vasquez had trouble
Hold
keeping her
on.
balance on the slick ground and fell. The current swept her downstream right away. Her head struck the cave wall and she lost consciousness.
Jeez.
Reyes jumped into the dangerous water immediately. Fighting against the current, he reached Vasquez and grabbed her with one arm while bracing against rocks with the other. Struggling against the powerful flow, he made his way back to the slope with Vasquez still unconscious. When he reached the bottom of the slope,
Where are the other guys?
he was almost too tired to move. Using his last bit of strength, he lifted Vasquez up, and the group pulled her to safety on dry ground above. As Reyes attempted to climb up himself, a huge wave surged through the passage. It struck him with tremendous force, breaking his grip on the rocks. Vasquez, now conscious, reached for him desperately. Their fingers briefly touched before the current pulled him beyond reach as he was swept away into the cave. The other guides led the group to a dry chamber higher in the cave, and they waited there together, making sense of what just happened while Vasquez sat apart from the group, crying. Rescuers arrived by dawn, but struggled with the high water
Oh, the teacher's kind of sacrificed himself, used all the strength he has.
levels. Hours later, they reached the trapped group and rescued them. Despite her injuries, Vasquez insisted on walking out without assistance. Vasquez was taken to the hospital where she was found to be in good condition, but unfortunately, Reyes's body was recovered downstream later that day. Roaring River Cave.
Shit.
On October 14th,
That's a crazy story.
2022, a team of cave divers came to explore the underwater passages of Roaring River Cave in Missouri. This cave was challenging to dive as its underwater passages went down steeply.
It was challenging to dive, and you decided to go. You decided to say, okay, I'm different from everybody else. Let me swim. To your death. Body found after 5 days. A very large funeral for you. We all know how it ends.
Requiring special diving skills and equipment. The team had specific jobs. Two divers would go to the deepest parts of the cave. Eric Hahn, a
What are people thinking? Like, people are actually degrading in intelligence. You see a deep cave nobody has ever gone to, and you decide to be the nigger to risk your life to see whether the cave is actually dangerous, all for an achievement.
27-year-old diver would work with another diver, which we'll call Marty, to place extra air tanks at 130 feet and 190 feet below the surface. These tanks would provide emergency air
That's a smart plan. That's low-key
if
smart.
needed. Hahn used a special breathing device called a rebreather. This equipment reuses breathing gas by removing carbon dioxide and adding oxygen as needed, allowing divers to stay underwater longer. At 11:12 a.m., Hahn entered the water and started following the guideline. As he went deeper, it got colder and darker, with only his dive lights showing the
It
way.
gets colder and darker, the pressure gets increased. Then he still decides to go deeper. Cave
12
divers
minutes
are
later, Hahn reached the 190 foot. He briefly met with another diver who later said Hahn seemed fine with no signs of trouble. Just 1 minute later, though, something went wrong. Hahn suddenly crashed
Funny how everything just changed in a single minute. Like, count from 1 to 60.
into his partner Marty and began swimming up quickly, which is dangerous at that depth. Marty knew it was an emergency and followed Hahn to help. Marty caught up when Hahn hit a rocky ceiling at 165 feet.
Jeez.
Hahn was struggling with the breathing equipment. The situation got worse when Hahn pulled out his mouthpiece without closing it, letting water into his breathing system. These convulsions matched the signs of
I think he can't breathe.
oxygen poisoning, which happens when a diver breathes too much oxygen at depth. Marty tried to hold on while managing both the convulsing diver and the emergency mouthpiece. They ended up sinking to the bottom at 204 feet. The water quickly became cloudy as their struggle stirred up silt from the cave floor, and eventually it became too dangerous for Marty to continue the rescue. He couldn't see the guideline anymore. He was getting tired, and his own air supply was running low. Meanwhile, another diver had gone up to get help. Marty, forced to give up the rescue attempt, started going back up and met another team member during a safety stop. This diver tried to go down to help Hahn, but faced the same problems: cloudy water, distance from the safety line, and dangerously high
What?
oxygen levels at that
What the hell? Cave divers. They are the most fearless people. They are the most fearless species.
Just 23 minutes after Han entered the water, another team worked coming back without Han. The surface manager stopped any more rescue attempts, telling all divers to complete their safety stop and exit safely. Rescue operations began at 4 p.m., almost 5 hours after Han entered the waters, when the Missouri Highway Patrol diving team arrived. They found Han's body at about 200 feet deep. Examined, Han's main mouthpiece was open and out of its
That's
mouth. His
crazy.
backup mouthpiece instead was in his mouth with a small air leak. His tank still had air, showing he didn't run out of breathing gas. Cave diving experts found that Han seemed to have miscalculated how deep he could safely go with his breathing gases. His main gas didn't have enough helium for diving at those depths.
It's so crazy. It's just crazy that all these things are happening to them, and it's 100% their fault.
Making him more likely to get nitrogen narcosis.
I'm done with
Besides,
this
Han
story.
had
Next
also been
story.
manually adding too much oxygen to in
Thank you for your
2019,
time.
two Italian divers, Carlo Basso and
Mamma
Carlo
mia.
Barbieri, went to explore the famous El Dudu cave system in the Dominican
The cave's name is El Dudu.
Republic. This underwater cave is known for its maze-like passages and beautiful scenery that attracts many divers. Neither
Maze-like
Basso nor
passage.
Barbieri had proper training for cave diving, as they only had regular open water diving experience. By 11
You don't have the qualifications to do something, and you go to do it. How how stupid is that? And then plus the place is like a maze.
50 a.m., they had
You are not
entered the
trained for
water.
mazes.
At first, their dive went smoothly as they swam deeper into the cave. As they went further,
Yeah, that's how it always starts. It always starts smoothly, then something wrong
though,
happens.
the cave became darker and narrower. Then they made a critical mistake. They left the main guideline and entered the side passage. These side paths are more dangerous, which is why they're set apart.
Wait, it's right there. What kind of water this engagement
The
are
main
you
line.
having?
As they moved through this narrow space, they stirred up fine dirt from the cave floor. The clear water quickly turned dirty, and they couldn't see anything.
Ooh.
Their lights only bounced off the floating dirt particles, making them useless. Things quickly
Can't
got
believe how
worse. They had
scared
lost
they
the
will
main
be. I can't even
guideline.
imagine how
Every
scared
move
they
they
will be.
made stirred up more dirt, making them even more confused. They couldn't even use hand signals to communicate because of how badly cloudy the water was. Each panicked breath used up their air supply faster. The situation became deadly when Basso's front air tank got tangled in the cave line. As he struggled to move, the line broke, cutting off their only reliable way back to the exit. They were now trapped in an unknown passage with no clear way out and running out of air. When the divers didn't return by mid-afternoon, people waiting on land became worried. The Dominican Republic's Speleological Society was called, and two skilled
That's
divers,
crazy.
Philip Lehman and Angel Compra, started searching for them. The rescuers soon found cloudy water, the first sign of trouble. Then, they discovered a
Like
broken
these rescuers are they're like the real superheroes.
guideline leading into a narrow,
They
dirt-filled
know
passage. The water was so cloudy they
everywhere
had to feel
for
their way
some
through.
reason, and they
After
are trained
hours
for
of
everything.
searching, they had to turn back without finding the missing divers. The search continued the next day. On February 12th, 3 days after
They
Basso and
left them for one day and imagined or assumed that they'll still be alive. Come
Barbieri
on,
entered the
they'll already be
cave.
dead.
Rescuers found one of them. Carlo Barbieri's body was stuck in a narrow side passage, in a spot so tight that even the rescue divers had trouble reaching him. His gear was working fine, which means he likely ran out of air or drowned. The rescuers
Yo.
couldn't get his body out because the passage was too narrow and decided to leave the body there. By February 21st, after searching for nearly 2 weeks, the local team stopped looking. The risks were too great, and there was little hope of finding Basso alive. Two American divers, Ed Sorensen and Mike Young, experts in cave rescue, were called to help. After getting permission from
Young,
worried local
Eric
officials, Sorensen and
Swirl.
Young had 8 days to complete their mission. Using special equipment, including a harness for tight spaces and a 4-point anchor system, they carefully moved into the narrow passage where Barbieri was found. Then, they discovered Basso's body the next day, stuck in a narrow passage beyond where they found Barbieri. Both bodies were eventually retrieved.
It's funny how they both started alive, and then 2 weeks later, they stayed there for 2 weeks. They died.